Oh, you don't know. Well, I'm glad you're back, though. I'm glad you're. Well, it's like we gain a guy and we lose a guy, and we just changed Andy completely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Smaller forehead.
It's smaller forehead. He didn't have that Peyton Manning forehead.
No, you don't.
No.
You don't. No,
No, you give off more Stone Cold Steve Austin vibes.
Yeah.
Is what I'm getting from you.
I'll take that.
You take that?
Yeah.
Just don't like you're gonna bust a beer can on your head or something like that.
Just don't Stone Cold give us a stunner.
Yeah. Or Goldberg. Goldberg was another one.
Yeah.
Remember Goldberg?
Yeah, I remember
Yeah.
Goldberg. He was my favorite.
Yeah.
Because he just comes out in the fireworks and he's just breathing in and breathing out. And
I like those like wrestling intros. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they were good.
Well,
Get hyped up. That's what we should do.
well, that's how we get
should
this
do
thing
that
going.
for this.
Wrestling
When we
intro.
come in to, when we announce it, we all have our little thing before we get in the chair.
Well, hey guys, welcome to the Words with Woodsman podcast. We're glad that you're joining us. This is episode 33.
33.
Could you believe it? We've been doing this a minute.
Yeah.
So today, actually for the next couple weeks, old Andy had some scheduling things. I don't feel too bad for him because I think he went on vacation out of country. And so we're going to have several guests sit in his seat over the next couple weeks, but we like to welcome old Zach here. If you remember from an earlier episode, he told his story. Zach, we're so glad that you're with us.
Yeah. Glad to be here.
Zach, you've had a little bit of life update since the last time you were on, which I want to encourage our listeners to go back and listen to Zach's episode if you haven't. I think it's like episode, 5, maybe somewhere in the range. It was early. It was early.
I think it was 9.
Was it 9?
I don't think it was that early.
They all run together in my mind, But Zach, my mic keeps trying to like fall over. It's tired. It's late.
It's tired.
It's just like, wah. But Zach, you've had a little bit of update.
Yeah.
Kind of tell us a little bit, kind of all that's happened since the last time you were here.
Well, biggest thing was getting married.
I would start with that one. Yeah.
Me and Aaron got married. I think was it last episode or the one before you were talking about it that you married us.
One of the last we talked about it. Yeah.
Two episodes ago.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. So that's
it's pretty fresh.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. And just the whole lead up to it in the weeks prior where, I mean, moving her out of her place, combining places, we had to get a shed and we had to get for more storage, and we had to get a deck built for that. And we had to do this all in like these time crunches, to try to get her out of her place by this time. And
because you don't want to pay double rent or double mortgage or anything like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
So,
I remember those days.
They were a while ago.
The blending. Yeah.
Way back yonder.
Who was the president when you got married? And I found that an interesting question to ask people.
that is.
Oh my goodness gracious.
Notice I didn't ask him what year. I said, who was
2000?
2000? Oh, I know who was the president.
How do you think I
2000.
remember how many years? You do it that way to remember.
That was old W.
Oh, was it? Oh,
yeah, George W.
Yeah.
He had just got elected. So you got
yeah, that would be in the range.
right at depending on what month they got married in, it was either Clinton or it was W.
Oh, yeah.
It was W.
It was W.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how long it's been for Randy. I'm not going to tell him
a while.
how old I was when he got married.
25 years, my friend.
That's.
You got any sage wisdom for emphasis on sage for old Zach here?
Ah, man. I don't know. There's some things I say drives my wife nuts. I always say, introduce her as that's my ex, my ex-girlfriend.
Wow.
Yeah.
That doesn't go.
How'd she like that?
She doesn't, so I stopped saying it.
I knew a guy one time that used to go around and he would introduce his wife as his first wife.
Yeah.
And she was was his first wife and current wife, but she was not very thrilled with that.
He doesn't think it's funny.
Introduction.
I think it's hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just best thing I could tell you is you're gonna live together forever. Might as well get the fart out of the way.
Yeah.
Just let it rip, man. Just let it go.
Tear that barrier down.
Yeah, get right to it.
I'm ahead of the game.
There you go. There you go.
I mean, man, how do you give it I don't know. I told my wife the other day, we were talking about something, and I just said, I want to know what other people think about their spouse when they're so far into their marriage. Do they still love their wife and think they're beautiful? Like,
That's a
you know,
weird pause. I was hoping that was. Do they still 60 years in? Do you still love your wife?
I don't think I said it like that, but I said, man, I still love you the same way I did the first day I met you.
Yeah, yeah.
And I still think you're beautiful as all get out. But like, do others feel that same way, or does it kind of like, we're just married and you're like siblings almost, like in
Yeah,
the same
yeah.
household, or you're still attracted to your wife? You know,
Well, I mean, I feel like if it's a healthy relationship, then that answer is yes, right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, my wife, like, I definitely, recognize that. What is it? I out punted my coverage. Is that what
Yep.
I'm not a football fan.
that is the right. That is.
Did I use that correctly?
Yes,
Yeah,
you did.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, to me, like and this is not a sappy podcast, so we're gonna get off this real quick, okay? But to me, like, I mean, she's just as beautiful, more beautiful, and I love her more than the day I married her. Like,
Yeah.
and so I will say this to you, I complain about it sometimes to her, but I got to be honest. It kind of turns out. Have you tried? It's gonna sound weird. I can't believe we're talking about this on the podcast, but
I'm waiting for where it's
But-
going.
it's the buildup, man. Have you tried the Scandinavian sleep method? Have you ever heard of that?
What?
I don't think so.
I didn't know about it till I think my wife heard about it on TikTok. It's like, so we've got a king size bed.
Yeah.
And instead of having a king size, there's several benefits to this. Instead of having a king size like blanket over it, she put 2 twins. And the reason for it is, main reason is because king size blanket never fits in any washing machine known to man. So the 2
yeah.
twins would, but it cuts down on like we still have like king size sheet. We still have all that's still the same, but the top cover, it cuts down on that, like,
Oh, the tug.
Oh, so we don't worry about
the fight.
I'm trying to throw it back at her.
You're burning up and she's freezing to
I'm
death.
like, just sheet or nothing. I don't need that big.
Is both of y'all's wives, okay, are they always cold? Is that a pretty
Yeah.
general consensus?
Yeah.
I mean,
Mine's
80
freezing.
degrees outside wearing a sweater.
But let me say this. She is freezing, or she claims to be freezing, but when she gets beside me in the bed, like, she's like a furnace.
Yeah.
Like, to me, like, she's
No.
burning me up. Like, I'm
No.
sweating. Like,
Yeah.
My wife's warm or cold. No, she's cold.
So she is
warm.
cold.
She's
she's
she'll
consistent
put
at
her
least.
feet on my
Oh,
legs.
that's the worst.
And no, for me,
Yeah.
because I'm always hot. So I'm like, oh, that helps cool down. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
But I'm always so warm. Like, there's no cuddle. Like, it's like, I'll let me have my little sliver. Be by myself. Give me that. I don't need any of your heat coming over here. Keep it on your,
Yeah.
I have woke up in a puddle of sweat.
Mhm.
As gross as that is. Maybe that's why she wanted to be able to fit all sheets in the washing machine.
Yeah.
But that woman, love her to death. That woman's a furnace. Like, she will, it's like, it's very much like I just went ahead and built a campfire in the bed with me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
so
That's how Erin is. If she's freezing, but then it's like as soon as she goes to sleep, it's like once she's been asleep for an hour or two, it's like
full blown. Like, I'm thinking of like Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Like, full on. They're like, I'm singing the song "There Was Another in the Fire" in my head
Yeah.
while I'm sleeping.
My wife wishes she could have that issue. It doesn't matter. Like 80 degrees in the house, she's still bundled up like it's 70.
Just set her outside like a lizard. Like, let the sun bake on her.
Yeah, I don't know.
You can just get one of those big lights and
Like,
I'm
what's the like, I don't know what it's called. I think it's like a terranium or something like that,
Yeah.
when they got like a lamp over like the turtle.
We talked about getting them mattresses that are separate but together, and they heat. You can heat them and cool them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like
Except at the cost of a small car.
I've
Man,
always
you-
wanted to see how they work too.
Yeah.
If they actually worked well.
We always made the joke. Of course, I wear like a CPAP now, because I snored so bad, so bad. But they claimed on those mattresses that if you can hit a button if your partner was snoring, and it would raise them up until they quit snoring. And I just joked around saying my wife would hit that button so much I'd be folded like a pretzel.
Yeah, because I've seen where like something in your throat makes you snore because it closes it up, and when you sit up, it goes
Have
back
they
normal.
how much have they advanced on the mask? Like, how bad is it to wear?
Borderline scuba gear.
Really?
Yeah.
Still?
Yeah. I mean, mine just goes under my nose, but
Oh, it's just like a tube.
it's just a little too like a. I look like I'm in the ER. You know what I mean? Like,
okay, so you don't
So
have
you
the
can
full...
send that picture. Can't
I'm in.
make it to work. I'm in the hospital.
Yeah. Yeah.
You don't have the full like fighter.
No, I
jet
don't look like I don't
mask?
look like Tom Cruise. It's
Okay.
not Maverick, okay, by any means. But I will say this, like
That would be funny.
because my wife likes to watch TV at night, and I shared this on an earlier podcast. I've got like the sleep mask that covers your eyeballs because the light will wake me up, and then I've got this mask on, and so I look like the least sexy Tom Cruise ever. You know what I mean? Like
I need
full
to
on.
get one of them goggle things you're talking about, or
Yeah.
covers on your eyes, because my wife does the TV thing.
It just keeps you awake, but she'll fall straight to sleep. Like there's been many times I woke up, 2 or 3 hours in, and she's passed out, and TV's still going. So,
Yeah.
No, there's a timer on that TV.
so you got into your marriage, man. Few weeks in at this point, almost a month in.
Yeah, almost right about a month. Yeah.
Have you? Is there anything that you've learned about yourself throughout this process, or?
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely learning how to be less selfish,
Mm,
which is
that'll teach you learn that quick. You have to learn that quick.
yeah,
Yeah.
because it's when you're not married, it's like you can pretty much do what you want.
We still go. You go home, like you go on the date, and you go home at the end of the night.
Yeah.
You're still by yourself, and you don't have all the.
yeah.
There's an escape, right?
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah. But no, it's been good so far. We just went down to Navarre Beach, Florida. We had that planned previously, but we kind of turned it into a honeymoon type of deal.
There you go.
I mean, that was nice. We just got away from everything. We both just kind of X'd out like social media and just kind of X'd out the world for a week and just kind of
Heck
spent
yeah.
time with each other and spent time with God, and it was amazing.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
That is the way to do it. And y'all had like I think you had one of the coolest weddings.
Yeah.
Just simple and easy, and not a lot of drama around it, not a lot of just craziness. It was about what it was supposed to be about,
Yeah.
which is you two and the commitment that you're making before the Lord.
Yeah.
And I thought the officiant was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's
Well,
pretty
my
good.
nephew, he's getting married.
Oh, yeah?
October 24th, and DJ B is going to be there, so I think that's going to be pretty cool.
I mean, I was the officiant, in case anybody
You were
was
the
wondering.
officiant.
Yeah, and not as quite as cool as a DJ, I think.
No, they get to hype them up.
They do get to hype them up. Yeah.
You just make it sweet and everybody crying.
Yeah. Well, and you try to find space to throw a few jokes in there,
Yeah.
but sometimes they land. Sometimes I threw jokes out there, and sometimes they just kind of look at you, right?
Yeah.
Like everyone's just
Yeah.
like, no, like guys, let's lighten up a little bit. You know
Well,
what I mean? Like,
There's
Yeah.
some that are there and they're so serious,
right?
putting the wedding
Let's have
together.
some fun.
And then there's some that crack jokes, and yeah.
My biggest concern with Zach and Aaron's wedding was, it wasn't the ceremony, it wasn't like any of the other stuff. So we had it down it was in this park near a lake, and they wanted to get married. I'm talking about you like you're not even here. Like y'all wanted to get married like next to the bank.
Yeah.
And my fear was taking a step backwards and it turning into like America's Funniest Home Videos of, the pastor falling overboard
Yeah.
mid-wedding.
I know.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
We joke around about it.
If Zach wanted to, he could have just pushed me at some point, and I would have just went into the lake.
Oh, if I
Missed opportunity.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
Because that would have been. Good thing Andy wasn't around.
Oh, prankster.
Frank,
Yeah.
he would
Oh,
have
yeah.
taken it
Oh yeah.
to the mat.
He would have like made a jacket with like a hook on the back and like hooked it to his boat or something.
Yeah.
And it'd be sitting out there, we wouldn't even know it, and
Yeah.
all of a sudden a boat takes off, and
Yeah.
then there goes Josh.
Just skipping across the water.
Pronounce your husband in what?
Yeah, that would be, and he would have found a way to record. Well, I mean, it was a wedding, so it was being recorded. So
Yeah.
yeah.
That would have been hilarious. We missed one, Andy. We missed one.
Yeah. Well, here's the problem with Andy is Andy announces his pranks on a podcast
I know.
and then expects to hide it.
Yeah.
Well, I guess he's trying to see who listens and who
I
doesn't.
guess so. I guess so. But still, like you're like, guys, we got to keep this a secret. And all the listeners out there, like, you got to keep it a secret too. Like what? Like that's your plan?
He goes all out on some of it.
There's always one.
Yeah.
We've talked about this. There's always one person that takes pranks a step too far. That's him. Right. Like it's like we're not laughing anymore. Like someone's going to jail.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know what I mean? Like
Yep.
it's that kind of deal.
Yeah.
Like we need to call an ambulance. Like
Yeah, he means well when he does it, but yeah,
He put
Yeah.
some money into him, it sounds like.
he's
takes him
committed.
serious.
money and
He's committed.
a lot of thought.
Well, yeah.
I think he just lays down at night and just thinks of new ways, you know? Well, we are coming up on our break. I didn't say it this time.
I
I'm
know
trying. I always say our first break. Well, it's our only break.
Yeah.
But we are coming up on our break. We're going to take a quick break. And when we get back, the three of us will dive off into the book of Philippians. You know, that's the problem. You know, you made the observation. The problem with drinking coffee is you have to go to the restroom every, 15 minutes. That might be why we're in 15-minute segments,
Yeah.
works
out.
We didn't even plan it that way either.
a little behind the
That's
scenes.
just smart thinking.
In between that and Randy's technical difficulties, it's a struggle.
It is a struggle.
It's a struggle. Well, so we are in Philippians chapter 1, starting with verse 15. I'll read it and then we can have a discussion about it.
All right.
But it says this. Oh, just as a reminder, Paul's in prison. He's been witnessing to all the prison guard all around him. He kind of has a different view on kind of his situation than I think most of us would have, or at least what we would imagine, you know what I mean? And so, I'll pick up with verse 15, but that's a little bit of the context here. It says this, "It is true that some preach Christ out of envy and rivalry, but others out of goodwill. The latter do so out of love, knowing that I am put here for the defense of the gospel. The former preach Christ out of selfish ambition, not sincerely, supposing that they can stir up trouble for me while I'm in chains. But what does it matter? The important thing is that in every way, whether from false motives or true, Christ is preached, and because of this, I rejoice. Yes, and I will continue to rejoice. For I know that through your prayers and God's provision of the Spirit of Jesus Christ, what has happened to me will turn out for my deliverance. I eagerly expect and hope that I in no way be ashamed, but will have sufficient courage, so that now as always, Christ will be exalted in my body, whether by life or by death." That's some good stuff there. He's sitting in prison. And this is his approach to it. Not only is he sitting in prison, but by verse 15, I did a little background on this. So there was these group of fellow, we don't know for sure if they were believers or not, whatever. But regardless, they were preaching, but for the wrong reasons. They were getting up there and they were preaching Jesus while Paul was in prison, but they were doing it to cause more problems for Paul. They were also doing it to try to one up and gain a little popularity and they do it in an ambitious way, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so Paul takes an approach that, I don't see a lot of people in this day and time, take towards that.
Mm-mm. No, not like that. Sorry, I'm somewhat distracted too.
We got a lot of movement happening on here in the shop, but there's the owners here and they're moving things around. But the first thing I want to point out with that is, you got these people that are preaching for the wrong reasons. And first off, we know that Paul's not afraid to correct people, right? Like he
No.
does that in other books, right? He'll correct other churches, he'll correct other believers. But when he looks at these individuals that are doing this, they're doing this to harm him. They're doing this to gain something for themselves. Paul's looking at the bigger picture and he's saying, look, whether they're doing it for the right reasons or wrong reasons, Jesus' name is still getting out there.
Well, you can almost use this in today's world now that you just said it. You said they were doing it to help themselves. It's kind of like social media, trying to gain clout.
Yeah.
You do something to go at somebody because you put their name or whatever their reason is. You're just trying to gain clout. They're trying to do the same thing. They're trying to gain people on their side
Yeah.
to fight against them because he's gaining people doing it the right way. And you're like, oh, that makes you mad. He's doing it right.
Yeah.
And we want to stop it because that's not what we want. So
Yeah.
why not try
Or
to go back at him?
we're quick to go, well, what's your motive
Yeah.
behind that, right? Like, or what's your real reason for doing it? And Paul, even though that is important, and we're not saying that that's not important, right? Your motives are, the Bible's very clear, your motives are very important
Mhm.
because Jesus elevated this thing. He said, like, hey, I'm not just looking at what your actions are, I'm looking at your heart. And when he says, hey, he doesn't say, don't just don't just sleep with a woman that's not your wife. Like, don't even look at her in lust, because if you look at her in lust, you've committed adultery in your heart. So he's raised the standard. So we know that's there. But at the same time, Paul's going, look, these guys are doing it for the wrong reason. But what matters most to me is that people are hearing about Jesus.
Yeah.
We'll let God deal with their reasoning. I'm more concerned about, is the gospel getting out there?
Yeah, and he has no fear of speaking it,
No.
telling you, nope, that ain't right, telling you what's wrong, what's right. And he's not afraid to die about it.
Yeah.
Like a lot of us are. Like with what's going on in today's world, you're
Yeah.
kind of scared because you're
Yeah.
worried about what's going to happen. But in his case, like he had to worry more about it than we did. And
Yeah.
he still went and preached.
Yeah. And you think
'Cause he-
about it, because like you were saying, in today's world, I mean, it is, it is kind of scary at times, because you're going to be, how you're going to be met when you say or, try to share certain things.
But if you
Yeah.
have belief like Paul,
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't matter what happens here because you know where you're going.
Right.
So why would I want to stop?
And let me paint a correlation, and I'll ask you guys what you guys think about it. But what do you think about having that spiritual confidence, right? Like what Paul has. What does that look like in our day to day?
Being a good person almost. I don't like in preaching and being there. I don't want to say preaching because I'm not somebody who goes around.
You're not getting up there and you're not giving a sermon
No,
at your
but
work.
I treat people the same no matter what.
So there's consistency. That's definitely one of them.
Yeah.
Right.
Whether I know their beliefs are not the same as mine, but I'm not going to be disrespectful.
Yeah.
But because I'm showing them respect, I'm getting the same respect back. But we can have a conversation.
Yeah.
But I can have it with confidence, knowing like where I stand,
Yeah.
and not have that fear factor. But yeah,
I read a quote the other day, and I don't remember who exactly it was, so I'm not going to try to get it completely correct, right? So, but it was written by an atheist, and the atheist, he was a bit of a philosopher, and so he's always, the philosopher is always thinking about thinking, right? Like,
yeah,
and way smarter people than I am, but he made this statement. He said, if you Christians can, and he'd read the Bible, right? He'd read the Bible, but he didn't believe it. Okay. But he said, if you Christians really believe what the Bible says, like you believe that there's one way to heaven and it's through Jesus. This is his words, right? You believe there's one way to heaven and it's through Jesus. And you believe that if you don't follow the pathway to Jesus, if you don't submit your life to him, that you're destined for an eternity away from him, and that's in hell. And he said, if you really believe that, he said, why aren't you telling us about it? And I thought that was such an interesting perspective from an atheist, right? Of like,
Yeah.
you got a guy here who doesn't believe in God, and he says, look, he goes, I reserve the right to reject it. Okay. But how much do you have to hate us to not just share what you believe.
See, and I don't think it's about sharing. I think it's about a fear of knowledge, of getting that question that you don't have the answer
Oh,
to.
yeah.
And then you don't know how to respond instead of saying, well, I don't know everything, just like mathematical problems. I don't know everything. So I have to go to my kid.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, well, I don't know this, but let's see what we can find out. This, you got to treat it like the same thing. Like, have that conversation. Don't be afraid. You're not going to know if you know everything about the Bible. Ah, that's impressive. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
'Cause that
I haven't
there's
met
a
that person yet.
lot in there. And I bet you every pastor can almost say they don't know everything about the Bible. They're still learning.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
so much in there. And it's also when you're reading it, there's things that stand out differently to you today than it will tomorrow. So it's
Yeah.
never like the same because of what you're going through in life or what's going on in life. So
I think, like, Paul, obviously, the way he was, obviously he preached the gospel to probably people he didn't want to,
yeah.
even, and that's how I kind of, it made me think of that because, whether it'd be like a situation at work with somebody or something, that we got angry at each other or something happened, I think to myself, every single day I'm going into work and I'm working with a bunch of guys that where I was at 2 years ago.
Mhm.
I know a lot of them don't know Jesus,
Yeah.
and I try to keep that in my mind. Like, instead of, even though me and this guy had this altercation, he still deserves to hear it just as much as me, and
Yep.
that can be hard to do
Oh, yeah.
sometimes,
And I
but
love
not
that.
as hard as that.
I love that because let me give a little more background here. So what was happening is there was so these pastors that Paul's referring to, a lot of them were located in Galatia. So it's definitely like that the book of Galatians, like that group of people. And so these pastors are going around and they're using Paul's past
Mhm.
against him.
Mm.
So for anyone that might not be familiar with this, like Paul was once Saul, God gave him a new name, gave him a new purpose. But when he was Saul, he was a Pharisee, which was a religious leader in the Jewish belief, and he was actually a part of hunting down and killing Christians.
Yeah.
And so for God, so first off, I think there's something powerful here. So first off, if you think that your past is too screwed up to step into
Yeah.
this, or you're like, man, I feel like such a hypocrite because you're not that same person anymore. Like
Yeah.
if you've given your life to Jesus, He's given you a new being, a completely new person that you might look like that same person, but that old person is dead.
They say, you're reborn again.
Yeah, you're born again. Yeah.
So you're going to learn,
Yeah.
And the thing is Paul didn't let that slow him down. Paul's saying, hey, look, if it's getting the word out about Jesus, let them use it.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I love what you said, Randy, about like that fear. Because I think that's so relatable because everyone's got that fear of, well, what if they ask me a question that like stumps me up, right? Like, I love that answer of, hey, I don't know. I don't know it all. I don't have all the answers. I'm still figuring out. But I tell you what, we'll go figure it out.
Yeah.
And we just talked about marriage. And this is what now I'm kind of getting excited because me and my wife is more diving in and like learning and to me it's like well, that's overwhelming.
Yeah. Yeah.
But when I have questions or we have talks or somebody says something to me, I was like, I don't like I can go to her and then that's my backup. Or if I need an answer, hey, I need an answer and I can give a text. And
Yeah.
that to me is if you're both going into it together,
Mhm.
it makes it easier, because now take some of the fear away because I do have fear of, that of not having the answer. But I also have the confidence because I have Josh, I have my wife,
Mhm.
I have people to go to. And that's what people forget. Like,
Yeah.
if you're in a community of other Christians, you have a backing. You don't
Yeah.
realize you have a team,
Yeah.
you know?
I think, community is like super important. I feel like because before I was trying to follow Jesus, I had no desire to go to church
Yep.
whatsoever. I'm like, I don't want to do that, but now I've seen the importance of having a community of other believers, and especially other believers that have more knowledge than you and less knowledge than you, so you're learning and helping other people learn at the same time,
You're just getting stronger because
Yeah.
you're,
Yeah.
you're around the people talking about it. You can
Yeah.
ask questions. Yeah.
Well, and that's one of the reasons why, Paul's even writing a letter is
Mhm.
because he has a community of people. Like he went to, and we talked about this back when we introed Philippians, but in Acts 16, he goes to Philippi. And so he goes to Philippi, that the church gets started there. He plays a huge role in that. And now the Church of Philippi, not only have they supported him financially, but they're supporting him emotionally. Like they're sending him these letters and he's responding back with like, "Hey, I want to encourage you. Like, don't worry about me. Like I'll be fine.
Yeah.
Even if I die," and we'll get to that next podcast, but even if I die, like I'm going to be just fine. So don't worry about me. And so he's got that community of people around him that's because there's we as the church, and I'm not talking about any particular church, but we as the overall church, our role is to encourage one another, to push each other closer to Jesus, sometimes to correct one another. But it's always done in a way that's not lifting ourselves up, but it's done in a way that pushes everyone collectively towards Christ. Like that's what we should do.
Yeah.
And it just makes me think of the people that write down journals, all their stuff. And you think about
Oh, I'm
what,
terrible at that.
oh, I am too. I always thought
Yeah.
that would be neat. Like I have a prayer book, but you're going to read it and be like, but people that write down the things that actually happened to them
Oh, yeah.
and how God was there. And when they pass and you start reading, you're like, no way. And you kind of inspires you of like, they had that much faith that even in
Yeah.
this book, they write about it. And here we're reading about it. Same thing with
Yeah.
Paul. Paul writes the letter. Look at us still reading it today.
And I'll say this too, because there's some people that they're not around. One, if you don't have people in your life to push you, encourage you, and seek. And one, I want to encourage you to seek that out. Like look for that. Start at a local Bible believing church that's near you, right? But another thing too, in our day and age, like with technology and internet and Bible apps and all these different things, we have access to so much stuff. Like we have access to so much good content. There's a lot of bad content, but there's also a lot of good content
Yeah.
that I know the internet gets a bad rap, right? Because we always talk
Yeah.
about the bad things it does, but
Yeah.
we don't ever talk about the good things it does. But that allow you to grow in your faith and learn.
Yeah.
I've been really challenged here lately because the Bible talks about, always have an answer for the reason why you believe what you believe. I'm pretty sure Paul wrote that. But so for me, like I've been trying to study, I've been trying to dive off into like different things on defending the faith and why do I believe what I believe and all that kind of stuff, simply because like I want to have that answer. Now, am I going to have it all the time? Like, I love it.
Yeah.
You pointed that out. No, I'm still going to have to say, hey, I don't know that. But at the same time, that doesn't mean that we shouldn't be working towards being prepared for that too.
Yeah. Because
Yeah.
you think about the person you're talking to. I don't have that for you right now, but I'll get it back to you.
They're going to
That put-
respect you more.
Yeah. Because now you're going to go get that answer for them because you don't want to be that person
Yeah.
that just, I don't want to work that hard. No, you're going to come back and they're going to be like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, I'll go ahead and warn you too, because they'll probably be skeptical. They'll probably go,
Yep.
nah, he's never going to get that back to me. He's going to just avoid me. But when you show up, the next day or the next couple of days, you're like, hey, I got that answer for you. They're going to go, wait, what?
Yeah.
And it's one of those, like, if you want to maintain their respect, like you go get that answer and you bring it back to them.
I think they're
Yeah.
also testing you. You know what I mean? Because they want to see how much they can trust you.
Yeah.
If I challenge you, can I trust you to come back with the answer? Or are you just going to push me off?
Yeah.
Then that almost
Or a third
determines if
option, are
they're
you
gonna
going to
come
try
to
to,
you.
are you going to try to like mumble through this and come up with a bogus answer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Because
And I think it's also, important to remember it's also, planting seeds is the, I got a few friends that, are, and even some family members that are like atheist or agnostic, and just the difference they see in me and the things I talk about
Mhm.
now, they're kind of like it sparks interest, even if that interest is trying to debunk what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It sparks the conversation, and they start thinking like, well, I've known this guy a long time, and almost like the Phil Robertson story, which
Yeah.
I just watched
The
for the first
Blind.
time. Yeah, when he's in the blind with Big Al, by the end of it, he's like,
That's a
this
tearjerker,
this is
man.
starting to make a lot of
Yeah.
sense.
Well, and
Yeah.
the thing is, I love that because Paul goes on to talk more about that later on in Philippians. But the only way that this is going to be real to someone who's an atheist or someone who's agnostic, or even just someone who just doesn't know, doesn't really know what they believe, right? Is if you live it out.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Because it needs to be, the problem with what we've dealt with here in American Christianity is people are Christian in name, but they're not in their actions.
They want to talk it, but
They
not.
don't
What?
want they want to claim it, right? They want to say, if you ask them, and which is why one of the things I heard a pastor say this a while back, and I've kind of adopted it. I've stopped asking people if you're a Christian.
Mm.
I ask them, hey, do you follow Jesus?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if you ask anyone, especially here in the South, are you a Christian? 9 times out of 10, you're going to get a yes. And the
Yeah.
reason why they say that is because, well, I grew up in church, or I go on Easter, I go at Christmas, I go on Mother's Day, right? But I don't really they're not really following Jesus in any other
You
area
know
of their
what that's
life.
called? It's called playing church.
Right. Well, and the thing is they say, hey, but in America, we call that Christianity.
Yeah.
But when you ask them, hey, do you follow Jesus? Are you a follower of Jesus? Oftentimes that sparks enough of, wait a minute. First off, they might look at you and go, what does that mean? What do you mean follow Jesus? That means you've committed your life to him. That means you've surrendered everything in your life to him and you're living it out. Because guess what? If you're not living it out, then you didn't surrender it. I mean, you can't really have it both ways.
Yeah.
No, I mean, there's many people that I know that to me live it out and speak it out, and then there's some that don't.
Yeah.
Eric, Eric.
Yeah. We're probably gonna have him on the podcast at some point in time.
Yeah. He goes to work and he'll say something about it. Like, oh, here we go about Jesus. But Eric doesn't go, oh, never mind. And he stands up and he's, we're going to do this. Like,
Yeah.
but you know what it did? Plant seeds, gets people interested, and then who knows what's going to happen after that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I had a former student of mine that when he got out of high school, he joined the Marine Corps. So he went to Paris Island, joined the Marine Corps, got deployed to Iraq, and his nickname in the unit, like, because typical military stuff, they're always giving out nicknames, right?
Yeah.
His nickname was Preacher. And the reason why they called him that was not because he stood up on a box and gave them a sermon every week, because he was always talking about Jesus. And even though that for some might view that as a derogatory nickname, those guys knew who they could go to.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like if they had a question, or if they were struggling with something, which I think it's a great place for the military, because what is it? Everybody's a Christian in a foxhole. Like everyone calls out to God.
Yeah.
I was about
Yeah.
to say, what a great place for him to be doing.
Right.
Yeah.
And he would go and he would, just share Jesus as much as he can, to whoever would listen.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. It's like, if we're not sharing Jesus at work, you're there for like 40 hours a week, right? That's a good, I don't know what the percentage is on your life that is. Someone smart. We had Andy, he could probably math that.
Yeah,
real
I'm not
quick.
doing that.
Maybe someone can comment and give
It's
that
a
in.
lot.
It's a lot. But if you're going to spend that much of your life at work, remember, you gave your life to Jesus, right? He didn't say, hey, give me your free time. He didn't say, hey, give me your weekends. He said, give me your life.
Mhm.
And so I think we need to be talking about it everywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, I have no problem with it.
It's tough. Sometimes, I guess it really depends on your job, and it. For me, it can be kind of tough sometimes at work, because that's definitely the place that I get the most frustrated, probably, and stressed out. So I'm more or less trying to maintain myself, but it's
Yeah.
not always like that. So,
Yeah.
it's definitely something I'm working more towards.
Yeah, and
To
and the
start
thing is,
doing.
it's a muscle, right? Like, it's like working out.
Yeah.
Like, you know, you were working out today, and I texted you before coming here, right?
Yeah.
And it's the first time you lift those weights, it's something that's very difficult to do, but you get stronger and you get more confident. And Paul didn't start out. We forget that these people were real human beings, right? Like Paul didn't start out the way he did in Philippians, right? Like he had a period of time where he had to learn, he had to grow, and he had to get his confidence up. And we forget that as believers. We forget that as just human beings.
Yeah.
And I just want to encourage, hey, just start. And it doesn't have to be you don't have to get up there and be able to give like a full-fledged sermon, right? But you just get up there and tell them what Jesus has done in your life. And that's the thing also, you know, if you're worried about someone coming in and, you know, debunking, no one can debunk what you've experienced.
Yep. Right.
And so just get out there and just go, hey, this is what God's done for me. I gave my life to him, and this is all that he's changed in my life.
Yeah.
I mean, even when the good things happen, say, thank you, Jesus.
Yeah.
You know, even when it bad happens, don't like it, but thank you, Jesus.
I had a guy one time, his way that he would witness to people, I thought this was cool, is he said, hey, what are the top, he would ask people this. He'd ask them like in an airport or like on the bus or where, and it was like one of those good ice-breaking questions. And he would say, hey, what's the top 3 things in your life that's made you who you are today? And they would go through and they would say, well, this, and then there was that time that my parents got divorced, or there was this time that I won, you know, I played college football, and they list their things, right?
Yeah.
And he said, there's always that moment where they're going to turn around and look back at you and go, what about you? And ask you, and you set them up at this point in time. And so if you're a follower of Jesus, in that top 3, Jesus, at least I hope he's in there.
Yeah.
He better be in there
Yeah.
of the
But-
top.
Oh, what do they call that? My wife is where she'll go and talk to everybody.
Oh, that extrovert.
Me?
Oh,
no,
yeah.
I'm hiding in that corner.
Yeah.
No, we're
Yeah.
But you good at the side talk. Like you get the guy over there, like just you and him.
yeah. Oh yeah. Once we do that, I'm good. But we were at just me and my wife were on a work trip, and here are people checking into the hotel, and here I am like, come on, get in the elevator, hit the
Yeah.
button, close
She's
the
over
door,
having a
close the door."
conversation with the janitor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Well, guys, we are coming up on, we're out of time. But Zach, man, thanks so much for being here.
Oh, thanks for having me.
We love having you. We appreciate you. You know, if you weren't here, Randy'd have to do all the talking, and I don't know if he wants to do that.
no.
But we're out of time. So, guys, as always, tell someone about Jesus this
Yeah.
week.
All right.
Peace.
Thanks for listening to the Words with Woodsman podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen. And if you're watching on YouTube, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a new episode. We'll see you next time.